Good morning. It is 8 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. It is beautiful on this June the 17th. Rise and shine. Good morning to you. Good morning. This is Coffee Talk. We get together just about 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather. And let me just add that on a day like today, it's Tracking the Tropics Tuesday. I've been working in the car here, just trying to get all of the graphics together because today's Tracking the Tropics Tuesday, and if you're unfamiliar, if you've not done it, Tracking the Tropics Tuesday, we do it every Tuesday during hurricane season. We go super deep. Like, we'll go deep on Coffee Talk. We go super deep on Tracking the Tropics Tuesday, talking about the tropics. So today it's going to be about some statistics because we have not had a tropical system. So join um, WJCL, our sister station. Join WJCL's chief meteorologist, Jeremy Nelson. He and I are going to be talking all about the tropics. And I will simply say that thankfully we do not have anything out there to track right now, but we'll talk more about it here on Coffee Talk and on Tracking the Tropics Tuesday. But for now, let's look outside live. My goodness, it's beautiful. 79 degrees the current temperature in downtown Orlando. It is 79 in New Smyrna Beach, 79 in the tourist district. And while the Kennedy Space Center is not necessarily reporting a temperature, my gut tells me 79 is probably a good assertion. Either way, the skies are clear. A little ribbon of drier air has moved into town. And yeah, I mean, we had some storms yesterday. We're again going to see some rains out there. Just nothing crazy. First warning, live Doppler radar scanning around, and a couple of little garbly-gooks here or there off the shoreline. That's about it for you. Temperatures out the door, 77 in Orlando. It's 78 in the Villages, 76 in DeLand. So it's looking very, very good. Okay. All right. Here's our forecast today. There's that lowered rain opportunity, right? 30% coverage today. It's going to be blasted hot, though. 92 1 p.m., 95 degrees, our 3 o'clock temperature. So, yeah, it's going to be a hot one, right? It is indeed. 30% coverage of showers and thunder showers. So the rain chances are going to be there. It's not completely dead. But at the end of the day, the overall atmosphere, let me show you what's going on, okay? We talk about this a lot during the springtime, but essentially this big mid-level ridge of high pressure builds in today, tomorrow, next couple of days. And what that gives us is two things. First off, it's called compressional heating. The air sinks, it compresses, and it heats. Then, because the air is sinking, we don't get the lift as much, at least for those afternoon thunderstorms. So because of that, we're talking about the opportunities for rain dropping and the opportunities for big heat obviously coming up. So let's dial in and just set up Central Florida's certified most accurate forecast. And then, yes, we will look at Futurecast. I've got you covered, right? So today, there's that 30% coverage of showers and thunder showers. Same thing for tomorrow. Juneteenth Thursday, we start dialing up the rain opportunity. We'll keep that around for Friday, first day of summer, because why would we keep it dry on the first day of summer? That's like counterproductive. Then kind of drop it back off a little bit, maybe for the weekend, then come back up. So that's where we're at. Opportunities for rain are going to be a little bit lower, and we're going to be raising it back up again for Tuesday and Wednesday. All right. So that's kind of the lay of the land. Today is going to be blasted hot, though. So before we get into the depths of things, let's just look out and see kind of where we're at here in terms of temperatures for today, right? 95 degrees in Orlando, 96 in DeLand, 95 St. Cloud, upper 80s, lower 90s from Melbourne to Titusville. New Smyrna Beach sitting at about 92 degrees today. Average high is 91. So yeah, we're clearly going to be above average. Yeah. Yep. So, keep that in mind. Okay. Big heat. Now, what about the rains? I gave you a preview of this yesterday. That's okay. We're going to look at the updated data. All right. So here's Futurecast for this morning. I'll bring it full screen so you can see in stunning high definition that lowered opportunity for rain. There's 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock. Beautiful sunshine. Land heats up. Obviously, we build in some clouds, build in a couple of showers. We see those greens scattered, isolated to scattered. but you can kind of see it's wanting to hang out, maybe develop a thunderstorm here or there. And then out west, we may get a sea breeze collision, which could give us, if you live in Sumter Lake, Marion County, it could give you the better opportunity for rainfall, right? Okay. Now, when we talk about the Keach-Byram Drought Index numbers, soil moisture, we are all looking good. Now, the lighter blues show where the areas maybe have still a little bit of a dry component to the soil, but you can see there's no yellows and oranges like we had just a month ago. So we're absolutely doing better and better in this department, right? Now, if we go too long with the dry condition, obviously that may be a bit of an issue, but we'll deal with it little bit by little bit. But it's a good day to head to the water parks, right? If you're heading out to Typhoon Lagoon, 10 to 6, it's open. It's beautiful. Absolutely a beautiful day for the water park. It's a beautiful day to go flying as long as you have like the rag around your neck. Whatever you have the opportunity to do today, whether you're heading this direction. Water parks are going to be better, obviously, for the cooling. If you're heading out to a place like Epic Universe or something to that effect, obviously it's going to feel particularly hot. Yeah. But here we are, right? Temperatures climbing. Again, you see on this graphic, it says 92 because that's 5 p.m. That 3 o'clock time frame is when it's going to hit you in the head, right? So love that. Love that. Smoke smell in Port Orange neighborhood this morning. So I'm off work this week, so I don't know 100% of like if there are fires around, but there may be some controlled burns. Let me pull up. Let me just look and see here. Yeah, I mean there's some smoke. Looks like down in like southern Polk County there's some smoke. Hold on, let me delete this camera keyframe. Delete you. Delete. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like there's a fire. And I mean, again, I'm just basing this off of, so this is Futurecast smoke product. So it looks like there was a fire down in Polk County. Again, could be controlled or not. I don't know the answer to that, but you can kind of see it pouring smoke across our area. Later today, that's going to end up focusing a little more, it looks like out west, Lake County. But yeah, so that's kind of the idea. So yeah, if you were smelling smoke, it's showing up on our modeling. That totally makes sense. Okay. All right. So let's look at our 7-day forecast. Again, inland spots looking good. Rain chances do come back up late this week. Summer begins. Are you ready for the party? Love that. Longest day of the year is on Friday. Coastal friends, we've got you covered too. Do not worry. Do not fret, my pet. Here we are. Rain chances nice and low. Now, looks like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, rain chances along the coast do look a little bit higher. But essentially, next couple of days, that beach forecast looking oh so nice. Oh so nice. Oh man, it's looking beautiful. Yeah. Love that so much. Mike's asking if the Facebook chat is still messy. I think it's good. Looks good on my end. Love that. Love that. Love that. All right. So that's kind of where we're at there. Let's see here. Friday. A lot of people wanting to know about the soccer forecast, and there will be a couple of showers. Hopefully, nothing too much lightning, but there will be a few showers around, so something to watch, right? We've got a rocket launch overnight tonight, Falcon 9 for Starlink. I will not be awake at 1:38 in the morning, but I digress. I think the biggest story, though, is going to be the hot temperatures, right? So today, expecting 95. Highest temp we've seen all year is 96. So we're going to be close to that. I mean, we could hit it, frankly. Today, 95. Tomorrow, 94 degrees. So we're definitely in that hot register of temperatures. Absolutely there, right? Thankfully, I don't see a 96 or anything higher. Yeah, Debbie's asking if I'm flying. I don't know. I might. I have to see how the day goes. I've got laundry I have to do terribly. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully we have decent weather on Sunday. Finally having my grandson's birthday party, Don says. It's been rescheduled twice because of everyone getting a stomach bug. Well, hopefully the weather will hold up. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. Matt says forecast for today's hockey game. The Cup stays in Florida. Is the game? I assume the game's in South Florida. I'm not a hockey fan. Like that's a Manolfi question. I feel like. Any particular reason why lightning storms have been so bad lately? I live in Mineola, and several people getting hit. Several people getting hit? Oh, houses. Okay, what are your thoughts on lightning rods? Look, if you can afford lightning rods, certainly that will help mitigate risk to a roofing system or your house in general. I would say that you've been getting them because of an east southeasterly wind, so it's been rougher in our western areas, right? And I would just add that winds shift, it would start shifting back off to the east. It's kind of your wind pattern right now giving you the storms. So that's where we're at there. Yeah. Yeah. Can't complain. We need the rain. We don't necessarily love all that lightning, though. But remember, Florida, Central Florida, particularly the Four Corners area, Champions Gate out near Disney, that's the lightning capital of the hemisphere, right? How are Tuesday and Wednesday looking next week? Kiddo has orientation at UCF. For right now, it kind of just looks like normal opportunities for showers and storms. We'll see how that plays out. Yeah. What time of day should it rain in Orlando on Friday? I'm going to a water park. Same time frame. Yeah, like afternoon. Ghost Woman says, yes, my parents lost their refrigerator due to lightning. Ay, 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 ay. Sorry to hear that. Amanda says, yes, lots of houses getting hit, not people, thank God. We have had lightning deaths this year. I haven't gotten an email here in the last few days. So there's an organization that actually tracks that. Hold on. And every time they put out their data, we update the graphics. So there have been 3 lightning fatalities in the United States already this year. None in Florida, but 3 people have lost their life because of lightning. So yes, there have already been, unfortunately, and certainly I'm sure that there will as well. Which is why, living in the lightning capital that we do, we've got to take it every day, every situation. We have to protect ourselves. We have to take it easy, okay? So keep that in mind. Debbie says, hopefully people are getting smart and not taking cover under trees. Well, the thing is what if these people, though, Debbie, what if these people move here to Florida from an area that doesn't get many lightning storms? Okay, so we don't have the landlines anymore. Okay, I grew up here, and I remember back in the day before surge protectors, it was like every day we would have to unplug everything, all the electronics, to protect it from the lightning storms. You couldn't be on the landline. People that are moving here, there's about 500 people watching Coffee Talk right now. It's a relatively calm weather day, so I wouldn't expect it to be a massive audience. But for those of you that are watching, how many of you are new? How many of you know you cannot shower in a lightning storm? I would be willing to bet that many new residents aren't aware of that. You don't think about it. But if it's lightning outside, water is an incredibly efficient conductor of electricity. Now, how have I bathed my children in that? I've filled in a bath with them not in it. And the second that I turn off the water and the bath water is just in the tub, then they can get in the bath. But as long as it's connected to the outside, you can be struck by lightning through water. There have been stories, was it last year or was it 2 years ago? There was a person washing dishes in a lightning storm. Now imagine that. You're washing dishes, cleaning the dishes, you just ate, fed the family, you're scrubbing, and your hands are under the water, lightning is striking. Done. Can you imagine? I'm pretty sure that person passed away too, if memory serves. Yeah. Diane says, I grew up knowing not to shower in lightning storms, and my husband thinks it's crazy to think that way since chances are so astronomical. I don't want to bet my life on something that shouldn't happen. It's like when I go fly. Do I pre-flight an airplane? Yeah. Do I check that there's no water in the fuel? Yeah. Well, most of the time you shouldn't have water in your fuel. What about that time you do have water in your fuel, right? Like you have got to protect yourself, you know? Mario says when it's your time, that's not wrong, but if I can mitigate things, I'm going to mitigate things. Mitigate the risk. Karen says, oh, I've heard it before, but never believed it. If Eric says no, then it's a no for me. I mean, you know what's funny? Here's a way that I've proved it to myself. You want to hear? Can I share this funny? Okay. So when I lived in West Palm, I had a saltwater fish tank. And I never cleaned the contacts of the lighting system, okay? And so what apparently was happening is salt was building on the contacts of the lighting system. And eventually, somehow, some of that electricity was getting into the water. And so I remember one time when I went to clean the saltwater tank, I put my hand in and I got shocked. The salt aided, but the water conducted the electricity. Yep. Matt, rules to live by. Rule number 1, don't get dead. Rule number 2, always be on the top of the food chain. See rule number 1. Oversimplification, but also not wrong. Don't abuse it, but yeah. Well, I definitely make sure no part of my hand is touching the metal on an umbrella handles anymore. I mean, an umbrella, if you're outside in a thunderstorm, metal or wood, it is what it is, right? Yeah. The ghosted woman says, I was born and raised in Florida. We don't mess with lightning, gators, or very cold weather. I feel like I want that on a plaque up on my wall. That's the best. That's hilarious. I was born in Floridians don't mess with lightning, gators, or very cold weather. Oh my God. We need to add that to a plaque. Oh boy. Jeannie Rowan. Goal for the day, don't get dead. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So anyway, that's lightning. The good news is overall, the lightning chances and the lightning I've got so much dust on my computer screen. The lightning chances and the lightning threats are absolutely coming down the next couple of days. They're not completely gone though, right? So there's that. Hold on one second. So anyway, there's that. All right. This is a most interesting coffee talk today. See, Karen, that's what I love about coffee talk. You never know what direction this little chaos machine is going to go, right? Yep. All right. Tropics. We can chat again. The big tropical discussion is going to be on tracking the tropics at 10 a.m. But for now, the good news is there is nothing expected to develop tropically. I see nothing out there now. Let's dial up the models, see what's doing. And again, understand that we're going to go much more in depth with this at 10 a.m. But there's the Pacific doing its thing. That storm, by the way, in the Pacific on the bottom left corner of your screen, named Eric. Misspelled, but named Eric. Big ridge of high pressure over us. Yeah. The same reason that we're getting hot as snot this week is why we don't have anything tropical. That ridge of high pressure is there. Now look here on the right side of your screen. What you got? Just a little cruiser. Let's back this up. What are you doing? Right here, around the 22nd, 23rd. What you doing over there? You see that? Do my eyes fool me? Interesting. Just a little. And then over near the Yucatan, another. But that one over there near Puerto Rico, near Bermuda. What you doing near Bermuda over there? Are you going to try and give us a tropical system? Atlantic. Bay of Campeche. Drink. So the GFS is back to wanting a bay storm. Okay. And something out near Bermuda. All right. So the ultimate test, because that's the GFS, the ultimate test, let's switch over and look at the Euro. There's Eric, bottom left corner. That's weird to say. Zero Z. I see a whole lot of nothing. I spy with my little eye. Whole lot of nothing. So the Euro says, no, 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 no. Euro AI. There's Eric, bottom left. The Euro AI is showing a lowered pressure into the bay, but nothing significant, and nothing out near Bermuda. So for right now, the GFS is the only one sniffing anything out near Bermuda. I'm not convinced. Something to watch. But over the next 7 days' time, nothing to develop tropically. But yeah, going back to the going back to the Pacific, that's weird, right? Tropical Storm Eric, misspelled as it may be. Tropical Storm Eric doing its thing. One of those CAGLOs. Here's the forecast track. Expected to become a hurricane. Expected to make landfall in Mexico as a Category 2 hurricane. Really interesting to see, though. This is the Pacific list of names. They have slammed through, right? Eric. Next one is Flosse Flosse. Meanwhile, the Atlantic list of names couldn't be any different, right? We got oh, that's the Pacific. Stop. Here's the Atlantic names. We got nothing yet. Now we'll talk more about this on Tracking the Tropics. I don't want to go too in depth. I got to leave something to the imagination now. Got to leave you wanting more so that you join us at 10. Got to hit the button on the 7-day. Play. There we go. Yeah. All right. Questions, comments, concerns. Why does my voice go so high? I don't know, Mike. Why? John says, okay, now this is one I've never heard of. Okay, so John, that's interesting. John says, pure distilled water isn't conductive. Adding salt or other impurities makes water conductive. I still wouldn't get in a tub of water with the water not running because of super high voltage and lightning can easily jump dozens of feet. That's also a good point. Things to think about, things to dial into. See, coffee talk is a two-way street. That's what's kind of fun about it. We're all learning together. I'll have to look that up. That's interesting. Matt, I've never seen Eric spelled that way. Me either, right? Like I saw it and I was like, well, either go with the C or the K. Don't just say, oh, we're going to have both of them in there. Why would you do that? But I digress. Oh, man. Alvin, Theodore, and. Oh man, oh man. Sonia's asking for the coastal. I already showed it, but I got you. We'll pop it up again for you. Alvin Simon. Do. Sorry. Isn't the Pacific traditionally a faster starter in the hurricane season versus the Atlantic, or am I just imagining that? No, you're absolutely right. They always start, their season starts 15 days earlier. And what you end up finding is, this ties into the Madden-Julian oscillation. We'll talk more about that on Tracking the Tropics at 10 a.m. But when it's in phase for the Pacific, the Atlantic is not in phase. Versus when the Atlantic is in phase, the Pacific is not in phase. So there you go. Yeah. Hurricane Keith was just like me. A whole lot of wind and no one hurt. Thank goodness. Yep. Eric, very Norwegian spelling. You say that, Jeannie Rowan. It makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Here's Mike. Things to think about. Right. That goes back to the coffee talk. Coffee talk. I'm very verklempt. Why is it that you drive on a parkway and park on a driveway? Discuss. If you know the SNL reference, then you know the SNL reference. All right. people get out of your pool when a storm is close. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Tim's asking, I'm so tired. Am I safe to take an afternoon nap today? Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. I would encourage that sort of behavior. I may do the same. Yep. All right. Questions, comments, concerns about anything? I think, the coast is looking gorgeous, mostly clear. Rain chances for all of us are down just a little bit. Yep. All right. Questions about anything? Allergies are kicking my tuchus, Oliver says. Has me super. I'm sorry to read that, bud. Yeah, the allergies have been getting me the last month, 2 months as I sniff. Yep. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? William wants to see the her model. All right, William, stand by. I mean, it's not going to be a ton going on today. See, now I've got the Alvin, Simon, Theodore, the Chipmunks theme. All right. Her model, stand by. All right. Here's the her model. Quiet this morning. Popping up a couple. Now, the her kind of is a little more bullish with shower development out around the Kissimmee River Basin, right? And then it kind of moves out west. There's your sea breeze collision around 9. Still could get some thunderstorms out that direction. And then it all kind of fades out overnight. I'll take it. What do they say? Better than a sharp poke in the eye? Right? All right. Any other questions? Anything? Did you see crazy windstorm in Kansas yesterday? I know it's not Florida, but they got 100-mile-an-hour straight line winds. I did not see that. No. Geesh McGeesh. Jeannie Rowan, Coffee Talk drive-through guest. No, look, we're in hurricane season now, so the Coffee Talk drive-through is done. I do not have lightning rods, but last July 4th, a house in my neighborhood got struck. So, yeah. And I don't know that they're back in yet. I mean, what a mess. Of course, William. Long range, we'll we'll look at some of that stuff on Tracking the Tropics Tuesday. All right. So it's 8:27. Let me get finishing up on some graphics and some research. I've got one thing I want to put together that I think will interest you. Come 10 a.m., but I'm going to need time for it. So listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you for hanging out for Coffee Talk. I will see you at 10 a.m. right here on these channels for Tracking the Tropics Tuesday. Jeremy Nelson and I are going to be dialing into all of that stuff. All right.